What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going over what I'm watching this week and some potential moves that I'll be making. Now keep in mind this is just a watch list and I won't be buying everything I talk about, but I'm definitely curious enough on these to keep an eye on them for either trades, options plays, or possibly long-term investments. So futures are currently up and the market looks like it's going to remain bullish, but I would personally like a bit of a pullback to get some better deals. However, if it stays green, I'll just go with the flow. And I'm definitely keeping cash on the side just in case we do get that pullback. Now, we have quite a few things coming out. On Tuesday, we have a little bit of economic data coming out. So manufacturing data in the morning and FOMC member Mary daily comments in the afternoon. Wednesday, we have the producer price index coming out. So that's an early indicator of inflation. This data will be interesting to watch, and we'll see how economists react to this. We also have retail sales data, industrial production, and weekly crude oil stock numbers that will be released on Wednesday, followed by initial jobless claims on Thursday before market opens, as well as an update on crude oil inventories later that morning. Another note is that the VIX is the lowest it's been since pre-pandemic, so let's see if this continues or if volatility starts to rise in the markets. Now, before we get into it, if you don't mind dropping a like and hitting subscribe, it really helps out the channel. And check out the links in the description. And if you want to join the Patreon, you'll get my buy alerts, option plays, and overall market updates. So check that out if you're interested. Now let's get into it. All right, so first up is NIO, and I'm going to run through these pretty quickly here. So NIO did well on deliveries, and they have earnings coming up here on 3/1. And they also have another event, I believe it's on March 17th. So March is looking super bullish for NIO. The chart is looking great as well. It's forming a cup and handle on the daily. So I do expect NIO to head back to all-time highs fairly soon here. We're pretty much neutral on the RSI. We just need the MACD to cross up and volume to increase. And I do see this heading back to all-time highs. Now, if you were to play options on this, I would play probably April or further just to be safe. But that's just me. I like playing far out. You could also do a spread for something like March 19th. Now, I will probably be adding shares if this dips back into the 50s. Even $60 isn't bad to add shares. It's definitely averaging up for me, but if you have a longer term outlook for this company, then it's definitely worth it. I don't see NIO staying at this level for much longer. I think we're going to break out and head much higher soon. I see a lot of long-term potential for NIO, so this is stock number one. Next up is ticker symbol LAZR. Now, this is not one that I talk about too much, but on February 9th, I did tell the Patrons I took a 35 strike out to March. Now, it has run up a bit, so I did already take my profits on that one. But it does seem like it's setting up nicely. And we do have more articles coming out for LAZR. So they did have a mean price target of 35, according to this article. And it did mean that analysts expect this to rise 6% over the next 12 months. And it has a score of 73 out of 100. So it definitely already hit that price target of 35. It'll be interesting I guess there's a lot of short interest on this one. Let's see if it continues to break out or gets pushed back down. If you look at the chart, we did break out of this wedge. So it's definitely something to keep watching. It looks like the MACD is crossing up. It's not overbought yet. I want to see if the volume increases, if LAZR can hold its gains. It usually has a hard time holding these gains, but it definitely could return to the 40s plus, could go back to all-time highs. So I'm not making a trade on this one. I'm just keeping it on watch. Next up is PLTR, and I think everyone is excited to see them report earnings. So they were down last week about 13.47% or $5. And I was actually adding on this dip because I do have a long-term outlook for this company. And I was averaging up because I think in the future this price will still be attractive. So it made sense to me to buy this dip. However, we do have earnings coming tomorrow morning pre-market, and that could be pretty volatile. Even if they beat, you could see a sell-off, so just keep that in mind. But taken as a whole, John Rhodes writes that he thinks they're going to have a revenue blowout. He thinks that they're going to land between 350 and 400 million in revenue and a 3 to 5 cent in earnings. He says he doesn't know exactly how the direct listing expenses and employee options will play out. It's kind of a wild card. So, he's just guessing on his estimates, but he is quite optimistic, and he gives them a price target of $75 by 2023. Now, he also touches on the lockup period, and he says how employees have actually had access to trade 20% of their stock, but maybe because they've seen how the market has reacted to Palantir and how bullish people are on it, maybe they're going to hold on to it. But he does expect some volatility, So in my eyes, if we do get a dip on this, I'll be adding shares and leaps because I am very bullish on this company. But under $30, I think, is definitely a steal. So just keep this one on watch. Next up is a couple of SPACs that have not confirmed a target yet. I talked about PSTH in my last video, so I won't stay on it too long. If this one pulls back, I will likely add some more shares or more far out call options. I do see an announcement coming soon, and I see this one being great. Next up is CCIV. No position here for me. The only way I'd play this one is with shares or spreads upon a pullback. So this one has run up quite a bit. If it's lucid, I think this is going to just go crazy. And after its recent run up, I think a lot of people are watching this one even more now, getting a bit of FOMO. So if it pulls back, it could present a nice opportunity, but it's still a pretty risky play. So just keep that in mind. But it's one that I'll be watching to either, swing some shares or possibly play a spread. Nothing confirmed here yet for me, but definitely keeping it on watch like everyone else. Now getting into some more long-term ideas, and that starts with Open Door. So recently we saw them shoot up to around 39 and then pull back a bit. I think under 35 is an okay place to buy this one. However, I would be more attracted to it around 30 or less. That's when I would probably buy heavier. But it's okay to start a position and then average down and buy in waves. That way you can't really time the top or the bottom, so that's another way to do it. Pretty bullish on this one though. ARK Invest owns a ton of this. And we saw the Loop Ventures article on this. They were talking about how they believe iBuying will account for 10% of all transactions by 2030. They believe that shares of Zillow and Open Door are well positioned to triple over the next 5 years as economies improve. So I am watching this one pretty closely, and we'll see if it holds its gains or gets a pullback. But this is one I'm very interested in adding for the long term. Next up is the Tattooed Chef, and I've talked about this one quite a bit, but it has been trading sideways for quite some time with a couple of spikes here and there, but ultimately always pulls back down. So I think $24 or less, this is an attractive price for this stock. And even at $23.57, I think that's a great spot to add at. I've touched on this article before, but it's basically talking about how Tattooed Chef plans to generate $1 billion in revenue. That's going to start with expanding their product line. So going from 38 products in 2020 to 62 products in 2021. And a lot of people do like their food. They get really good reviews on them. They're also going for broader distribution. So their products are sold in 4,272 stores. They're looking to expand that to 10,000 stores or 134% growth in just 1 year. I think this is a steal right now. And I think come earnings time around March 1st, a lot more eyes are going to be on Tattooed Chef, and then that's when this stock will push higher. We also know some pretty big YouTubers like Financial Education is very bullish on this one as well, which, that's a good thing to see someone so seasoned in the stock market talk about a stock that you're also interested in. It kind of just gives you a better feeling about your investment as well. So keep this one on watch. I think it's a buy right where it is. Another long-term idea would be Desktop Metal. Now, you guys know I've talked about this one quite a bit, especially when it was a SPAC. Now, they do report earnings on February 26th, so we will get more guidance on their financials, but I do see a lot of positive upside for this company in the coming years, especially over the next decade. Now, Desktop Metal has rallied up recently, so I believe in the last month they're up quite a bit. Yeah, up 46.95%, so definitely getting a lot more recognition than before. However, I still think current price is decent. You could scale in and then average down if it drops. Really hoping we do get a pullback for this one. Would love to add some shares in the 25 to 28 range, but we'll see. I still think that this is an attractive price considering additive manufacturing industry is set to grow 11x over the next decade. The CEO of Fulop goes on to say that manufacturing is a $12 trillion market and additive at the end of last year was $12 billion, so it's 0.1% penetration. This is like being in the semiconductor industry in the early 70s, so I definitely see a lot of growth potential ahead for this company. We also know that ARK added Desktop Metal in the PRNT, the 3D printing ETF, and you can see that Desktop Metal is, I believe, their fourth largest holding in this ETF. So that's another positive thing. ARK's buying, Chamath is in the pipe, a lot of good investors in Desktop Metal. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just wanted to touch on a couple of things that I'm watching in the market and some news that's coming out this week. You guys also know that I'll be watching Butterfly Network as the ticker does change tomorrow, as well as all the Chamath SPACs, BFT, APXT, BTW, and the typical SPACs that I talk about on this channel. I'm definitely watching those as well. Just wanted to touch on these. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and have a good one.